becoming a prime target for gun violence once again. The city of Richmond was known as one of the most dangerous cities in the Bay Area, if not the country.
We do this for our future.
Moving forward.
For our future. Join us for difficult conversations about important topics.
Highlighting young leaders that are paving the way for change.
Have fun while sharing our platform with our favorite local businesses and organizations. And this is the For Our Future podcast. Let's keep Richmond moving forward.
Thanks again for sticking by us.
Hey, hello everybody. It's me, it's Anselmo, back at it. Just like we've been doing it every week for the past, few months now. But yeah, we got a great episode. I'm here with some really good friends of mine. We got a special guest that we'll introduce in just a second. And we're going to get the show on the road. So how are you doing today, Diana?
Hi, everybody. I'm doing pretty good. You know, we had a nice long weekend. Well rested. I got to see a lot of family and friends, so I'm in a pretty good mood so far. What about you? What about both of you?
I'm doing great, but I gotta give a special introduction before we let our guests just jump on the screen like that. So we have a special guest. Is the hostess with the mostest. He's been doing so much good things in our community for years now. He's hosted the Moving Forward 5K event. He's hosted his own podcast. He puts together talent shows for local talent to be able to show off their skills. Man, and I could go on and on and on. But without further ado, let's welcome Evan L.G. Francis.
Man, you did a good job.
That was good?
Great. That was
yeah.
Great. No, you didn't even.
My glasses fogging up and everything.
No. You did excellent, man. So, personally, let me introduce myself. What's going on, people? It's Evan L.G. Francis, a.k.a. Mr. Go to Work. Happy to be here with my friends, Anselmo, Diana. I've been, like he said, I've been a part of the family, doing things with them, collaborating for a while. So this is just natural, man. So thank you for having me. I feel good. I'm excited.
Yeah, maybe we could just give the viewers a quick backstory about how we ended up collaborating and linking up. Moving Forward was hosting a 5K event, and Evan was out active in the community doing fitness classes and he has his own fitness studio. And so we contacted him and said, hey, would you be interested in helping lend some support, making sure the people participating in the 5K are stretched out. You can, share your information, stuff you got going on. And so because he supports the community so much, was like, yeah, I'm all in. So he came out, and we have another mutual friend who helped, put us together, and so it really worked out. And yeah, the rest is history.
Man, yeah, we've been doing this for a minute too. And the crazy thing is when you had approached me about it, I was thinking off top it was necessary, because the biggest thing is we got to be the change that we want to see. If we're not supporting each other, if we're not doing that, then the community don't really have a chance. And for a long time, I feel like the generations before, and it's not disrespecting nobody or anything, but it's kind of been lackadaisical. You know what I mean? When we were growing up, we didn't really have that. And I feel like the generation after that, our generation, we're more collaborative. We're more trying to get out there and, to make things happen. And I feel really good about being a part of this generation who's making things, happen and, doing things. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of you, man. I've seen it grow. The biggest thing is I've seen it grow from the first year to this year, with you guys having to adapt and do it virtually, which I'm sure we're going to segue into and get into. Just being able to adapt and do that, man, it's commendable, man. And to be able to still help people, that's the biggest goal. So yeah,
appreciate that. And the feeling is mutual for sure. Yeah. So yeah,
we've been doing it for a minute together, so most definitely.
Yep.
Same with you. Yeah, that's what I said. Same with you, man. You've been a bit like, I know the thing is, and someone tells me a lot that he's more of like the face, you know. But then the thing is like you always have the people that's always pushing that. Like my team, like I have Phil, I have Joaquin, I have those guys. If it wasn't for them, I couldn't do none of that. Like any of the videos, any of the other stuff, anything that happened, you know, I wouldn't have been able to help you guys or do anything like that because you know they have everybody has their part, and everybody's so integral. That's what I mean by like doing community stuff. You know, it's everybody's integral. Everybody has a piece. Everybody has a part to play. You know?
Yeah, no doubt. I feel like we definitely saw each other grow a lot, and you know, with all the different things that you've segued into and started new projects, you know, you always jump into it, and like you've always believed in the projects that we've had, and so you've always lent your support to our projects. And likewise, you know, every time you have something going on, I'm always here. So just remember that.
I appreciate you, man.
Yep.
I appreciate you.
For sure, you're one of the few first 5K day oneers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you've seen the growth from when it was like little to no funding or like barely any support to now where we still have little to no funding. But, you know, we're like making it
make it work.
Yeah, we make it work.
It's
make
more
it work,
so
definitely.
the will of the people with you guys. Like, and you know, when it first came about, I didn't understand after the first event. I didn't really get why there wasn't really any funding for the event. I still don't get why there isn't really any funding for the event. And that's what I kind of like call upon local leaders, people like that, especially from, you know, our generation, everything. Y'all should know better. You know what I mean? In general, you know, like if we're trying to build community, if we're trying to build a city, if we're trying to make things better, we got to support the people who are trying to do things to make things better within the city. It only makes sense. Like otherwise, it's always going to be a missing link. So we got to step up, man. And the people within the community, we got to be telling these people and raising these issues and telling them like, yo, y'all got to put this funding out here to, you know, support the organizations that really care about the community, the grassroots one, because, you know, there's a lot of small organizations out there, you know what I mean? But it's not grassroots like that. We need people out there that are within the community that's been here for a minute, that understand what's going on right now. That's what I'm saying. That's why you guys are so integral, you know?
Right on. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And it's like, you know, starting small and building it up, it really was just like a random like idea of doing something for the community. And once we started to work on it more, we learned so much about putting together community events and stuff. And so that's when the funding actually started coming in. We started applying for grants, got, you know, our stuff together, you know, as far as getting the fiscal sponsorship. So it was a process. But you're right. I think we should be having more funding, but
absolutely.
It's all in due time.
Yeah.
It's all in due time.
Absolutely.
As long as there's growth, you know.
Definitely. It definitely has been a ton of growth.
For sure. So for this podcast episode, you know, the original idea behind it was things to do in the Bay, places we grew up and stuff like that. But, you know, due to the pandemic and things going to the purple tier again, we decided to base it loosely on that, but more so base it on how has the pandemic kind of changed our lives. So with that being said, everybody, how has the pandemic changed your life specifically? How would you say the biggest changes?
One of the biggest changes is like most commercial gyms. I was going to 24-hour fitness in the mornings. I had my routine set. That got rocked because the whole closures and stuff. Like the day before the first lockdown, I was in the gym and I was telling my buddy, like, man, I think they're gonna close it down. It's like Los Angeles just closed down. If they close down, it's kind of trickling this way. So I think I'm not gonna see you tomorrow. He was like, no, I'll see you tomorrow. The next day I texted him, I was like, you at the gym? I bet you're not, because it's locked down. So like that's one like major impact, you know. You see the quarantine 15 right here. Evan, you know, he's a fitness instructor, so he don't got that same problem. See, as you see, he's taking off the coat.
You know what I'm saying?
He ain't making no excuses, but you know, that's one way it's impacted me.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Evan?
Okay, so this is gonna be strange. This is gonna sound strange. I think 2020 and the COVID thing, all that stuff, it's spurred probably the most productive. It's probably been the best year I've ever had. It's weird.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's weird, but
Yeah.
know what I'm saying, like professionally, you know why though? Because I have a studio and I do one-on-ones, and so while all the big gyms closed, I never did. I stayed active. I stayed doing clients. Had to adjust my measures. Had to adjust when I take people, how I clean, how I disinfect things, the way I take new clients, all that type of stuff. People had to be tested before I take some new folks and things like that. But I've been able to stay operational. And the other thing is that, a lot of those folks who came from the bigger gyms came here. And so it was one of those things of adjusting for growth at a rapid rate. And so that's kind of why I think for a minute I was not doing a whole bunch of videos and stuff, because I had to, readjust and understand what was going on.
Yeah.
But now I'm pretty much aligned. It's crazy because I feel horrible for the other folks within the fitness industry though, like that had to shut their businesses down. Who, one of my a client of mine actually has friends that own one that like their parents like citizenship depends on the success of that. And, so how do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
how do you really? It's weird. I can't really say nothing to the guy because it's like, damn, that's your livelihood,
Yeah.
So just as far as I go, being able to travel, see different things, expand the business has been good. But then I've also seen the other side of it, having to deal with, clients and how it's changed their lives and how it's impacted their lives in a not so good way. And, trying to bring people up. That's the big thing for me. It's like, I've never really looked at my end of it because my end always comes like off the back end. Like my life always is abundant because I don't worry about me. I worry about the other person. I worry about my clients. I worry about my friends, things like that. Make sure they're okay. I don't really worry about material things like that. But
yeah,
it'll come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
most definitely.
It's been a different kind of year, but it's most definitely been a decent one for me. And that's why I think too is that, and you can agree or disagree. I think people put too much stock on the disease or the COVID or the year or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Just because 2020 is about to end in like a month or so, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean that everything is over. You have to start cycling and getting your stuff together now for like tomorrow. You gotta start wanting success tomorrow. Don't wait till 2021 or think though because 2021's here, things are gonna change. What if they don't? Then you're waiting for this, that, and the other to happen. You gotta get ready, man, because that's why I say I don't believe in the numbers. I don't believe in things like that, like the I'm trying to get that word.
Basically, like taking charge of your own life and not leaning on.
It's a certain term because once I hit it, it's gonna make hella sense.
Yeah,
it's like
it'll come to you. It'll come to you.
No, it's that like the barrier. You know what I mean? It's a barrier to where people are like, I gotta wait till 2021 for things to be better.
Yeah.
Nah, man, make things better now because you're in control of your life. 2021 ain't in control of your life. You are. So most definitely, my year's been good, but I want to help others make things better in general. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm really curious. I want to see some of our live viewers right now comment what they think has impacted them, how this whole thing has affected their lives. Somebody, J Kid, John, he said you got the Akuma beads on.
Oh, indeed. Indeed. He's a Street Fighter fan. Yeah. That's exactly what I got him for, too. So he's seen the little symbol on here. So it says 10 on the back. You ever play Street Fighter? Okay, so you know Akuma, right?
Yeah, of course.
So, when he after he beats somebody down, lays him down, he turns his back and it's all on the red. So I got it, same symbol and everything. It's 10 in Japanese, but it means heaven.
There you go. Okay, that's dope.
I'm completely lost with that. I don't know
What?
Street
Yo,
Fighter.
Ken,
No.
Ryu, none of that.
I know Street Fighter is a fighting game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Man, there's so
Like,
much lore
That's
behind
it.
it.
Yeah. That's it. That's all I know.
Yeah. He's kind of like Ryu a little bit, but more like the darker side.
Yeah.
I don't even know Ryu.
No? Oh.
Nah, we gotta get her some Street Fighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You gotta get a little
Yeah.
arcade stick, something.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I know, like, personally, this year in general, it's been like up and down, but I definitely grown a lot. There's been like a lot of maturing. You know, unexpected things happen. I was like renting at a place for a little bit, sharing a home with some roommates, and unexpectedly I had to move out. I moved back in with my parents. Then I ended up getting a place. Then I don't know. It just like it's been up and down. Then my life completely turned upside down because I started working remotely 100% of the time, you know, and it was like, I was telling Evan before the show started, I was going into work every day, seeing my coworkers, and it was just like, I was an event planner too. That was part of my job. And then it turned to 100% remote. So it's like a lot of big Zoom conferences instead of events. And then I don't know, my role has just been shifting. So yeah, this year has been such a change, but like a lot of growing up, a lot of things in a good way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
I think like moving forward has
sure.
grown up during that time too.
For sure.
Just out of necessity to stay active in the community, leaning into the whole virtual world. I feel like that was one part of it, but it was either that or just fall off the face of the earth because you can't do events anymore. And one of the main things that moving forward did was organize community events, bring people together, and do positive things, empower people through coming together and doing positive things. Right. And so doing that virtually is awesome, but something about being together in person has a different effect. And so I am looking forward to being able to organize events in person again. Obviously, this year's 5K was a virtual event. Evan had been hosting that event, and so that's one way that we were impacted because Evan couldn't be there and bring that energy that he always does and really get everybody hyped up. But we're looking forward to 2021, so Evan could hopefully get back out there. I'm putting him on the spot because we haven't talked about it much, but trying to lock him into agreement on camera.
Don't even do that.
Get this photo documentation.
I give y'all my thing now. Let's do it. Let's do it. Because that's what I was saying too. Is the biggest thing for me is the things that I did miss. Like I want to get back to next year. Like that's for sure. That's probably the only thing. And the word I was looking for earlier was barometer. So like you know what I'm saying. So just something that. That's something I'm looking forward to. Like just getting back to like the 5K, getting back to that build up for it. We were still doing the virtual classes and doing all that stuff, and it was a big adjustment because I think earlier this year, before it happened, we were doing the in-person classes and we were growing. Yeah, it was growing. We started to see a lot of people coming in and doing doing all that. Yep. And so it was an adjustment, but once again, like you said, kind of adapting on the fly, making it happen. That's why I say, moving forward, I most definitely got to commend you for your growth, just in general, because like you said, you could have easily fell off the face of the earth, but it's the same thing like for Go to Work, right? Like we were kind of doing videos and stuff before the pandemic stuff happened. So if we weren't doing anything or if we fell off, it was just because we fell off and it was, we weren't trying because we were pretty much built for something like this. You know what I mean? For when people need normalcy and people need something to encourage them to, get better. Just pop in the video, check it out. But if you're not doing something, if you're not adapting, you're not trying. So I most definitely commend you guys for the adaptation and for the growth.
We have JD Jose Arandia on here right now. He said he signed up for the 5K, so he may need to tap in and
You need to come in there, man. I already know where I'm at. That's what I'm saying. And if you don't know where I'm at, and I am a personal trainer, by the way, everybody. If you do want to get with me, hit me up. Go to Work Fitness, Google it, all socials, do all that. Get in touch with me. I do respond sooner or later, but no, I'm pretty quick with it. But yeah, get in touch with me. I'm trying to change some lives, man. That's the biggest thing, is changing lives. But shout out to JD. What's up, Wade? Thank you for watching.
Isn't it crazy how before the pandemic, I don't know about either of you, but before the pandemic, I hated Zoom. I hated like anything to do with like video recording. And ever since the pandemic, I'm just so comfortable with it now. I'm like a Zoom wizard pretty much. And then with like the podcast, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't make me nervous anymore being in front of a camera. Has that happened to either of you? Or Evan, you must be comfortable either way, right? Like you're more of a personality on video, but
it's more one of those things, like it was just kind of adjusting to getting it done with clients, right? Like on a regular, because that became part of my clientele, was like the Zoom client, and that was never really like that. People still, the majority of my business is still in person, but it started to kind of, decipher a little bit once this started to happen. But yeah, I think the adjustment was just getting used to it. I never was a Zoom guy, like you said, before the pandemic, but most definitely, once again, had to adapt and adjust, and that was, another segue for growth. So yeah, it was one of those things. It was most definitely a forced adjustment, though.
Yeah, Zoom, I think Zoom has really played a part in keeping people able to do projects together by having these Zoom conferences. Seeing someone face to face does go a longer way for me than just hearing someone's voice.
Right.
But in-person meetings for me just have something special to them. But Zoom meetings are good. They get the job done.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I want to clarify. In person is way better than Zoom.
Facts. Yeah.
Like 100%. But yeah, now I'm just really comfortable with Zoom. So, what about relationships? How have relationships changed during the pandemic? It could be friends, family, your significant others. How has it gotten has it strengthened? Has it gotten worse? What would both of you say?
Well, for me, it's like I haven't seen my family as much as I would have before. So that's a little bit sad, because I like to spend time with my family. But we've been limiting it, wearing masks and trying to be safe and stuff. But I have spent a lot more time with my significant other, because that's the person who I live together with. And obviously we're in the same bubble, so we're able to spend a lot more time along with my young dog Hercules. But yeah, I feel like my relationship with my now wife has strengthened, obviously. But my relationship with my family, I wish I was able to spend more time with them. I'm not going to say it's gotten weaker, but we just haven't spent as much time as we usually do for, reasons of social distancing.
What about you?
Shoot, for me, like as far as family go, been able to spend some more time with certain folks in my family that I wasn't before. I don't know if that's good sometimes, but you know what I mean? But, as far as that go, I have been able to spend more time with them. As far as friends, like, there's a lot of my friends I haven't been able to see as much, you know what I mean? Or talk to as much. But I think the thing is because everybody's been so occupied with what they're doing. When you go through something like this, like COVID and quarantine and all that, a lot of people are just locked in their bubble, and then they have to think about self. You know what I mean? 'Cause they're locked in those four walls. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people had to deal with themselves and their lives and stuff like that. So I reach out and I say, hey, what's good, to certain people. But then other ones, you just be like, yeah, I know you're going through it probably, I'm gonna let you come, when you're ready. But it depends on the person. You know what I mean? Like my relationships with people really depend on the person. But yeah, I haven't had a bad relationship with anybody since, but it's just everything's kind of out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So you'd say it's like person dependent, really.
Yeah.
Like the pandemic really hasn't affected if you're close with them or not, because it's basically the person's effort, right?
Yeah, that part. That's why I say, like, if you reaching out, it's more than likely I'm reaching out. I reach out too, you know what I'm saying? But if you reach out, then I reach out. I'm always the guy that I feel like is one of those people who looks out for everybody else, but you know what I'm saying, not too many people reach out because they already think you cool. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't even bother with it because for the most part I am. You know what I mean? But then the good thing is like being secure in yourself and not really needing too much of it.
Yeah.
But when it does come, you appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, shout out to everybody.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's kind of so I guess with friendships, there's been a strain. Nothing negative, but it's you're limited to the people that you could talk to, really.
Yeah.
And if you do see them, like depending if they're really serious about quarantining or not, the only really contact you get is like talking on the phone and stuff.
Right.
So I'd say I've only really been keeping in touch with a couple friends here and there, but yeah, with friendships I just don't see them as much. There's no like after work happy hours. There's really nothing like that. With family, it kind of sucks because I have a huge family, as I said like a bunch of times on the show. So we don't really get to meet up as much. We try, but we really don't, except this past weekend we did. But for the most part, no one's really been wanting to have big parties or anything.
Right.
And in terms of, except for my immediate family, of course I see them and things like that. My relationship is really interesting because I got with my partner right before quarantine. So I feel like that just really accelerated everything. Like now I have a place with him, so I feel like the pandemic really just I don't know, just really put a speed up on things, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I don't know, for me it's kind of a mixed bag. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you. Like, I don't feel like it's anything negative. I've never had like a falling out with somebody or anything like that. But, some people that, I was hanging out with or seeing more regularly definitely haven't been seeing as much as of anybody, So I don't think it's anything personal. It's just the way things are right now.
Basically, man. That's how it is. You can't, and that's why I say you can't really help it. But yeah, it sucks to have strains on those friendships. But then again, like you said, it's changing with the times. I feel like a lot of the time, as long as you're knowing who you are and you're comfortable in your own skin, you don't necessarily need the reach out or something like that. Yeah. But it's always good to know that bond is there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot of folks right now, I think a lot of us have lost that sense of bonding with our friends, bonding with our family, because we've been by ourselves for so long, or been worrying about everything else going on with us. That's like, it's just been a time of self, when a lot of the time when we're bonded with our friends, when we're sharing those types of situations, it's more so about everybody, the whole,
Yeah.
But right now it's more so about self. So it's the difference.
I definitely will say that it has been more isolating. I mean, just switching to 100% remote work, it really does. I guess what I took away from the pandemic as a whole is those little interactions every day from work or from like different clubs that you were in or whatever the case is, any outside activities. Those small interactions really do bring you up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not that I've been depressed or anything, but it really does make a difference in your mood. Just like little outbursts people have day to day. Meeting with silly people or just running into someone that you haven't seen. Yeah. I work at a school, so it's an on-campus type of situation. So it was just nice to interact with people day to day, and you don't get that nearly as much. And then the work, I guess from work you only see people during Zoom, so it's only in a very like professional meeting setting, and it's not like anything.
No water cooler
Yeah,
conversations.
no like water cooler conversations or any of that, because you have a camera in front of you and there's different people around you, so of course you're just not gonna make side jokes or whatever the case is. So I mean, it really does affect your mood a little bit. But I've been personally trying to keep busy. There's a bunch of hobbies that I've picked up. What about both of you? What hobbies have you picked up?
Well, just really recent, I started playing chess a lot on my phone, virtually, with different people. But
Nice.
so if anyone wants to see me on chess, go ahead and add me. If you want to get scraped. No, I'm just kidding.
Man. Shoot. Me, more so been learning and educating myself like on stock, cryptocurrency, stuff like that, trying to get certain things like that in order, investing money on certain things. That's been my thing, is like, while things have been down, while everything's down, it's kind of investing for the time when things go back up, because they are going to go back up at some point. Everything's gonna go back up, so I'm just educating myself, learning about it, learning certain things to get my financials up, so then that way when this thing do go up, I'm able to kind of expand my efforts out this way too, you know what I mean? So it's more so about just I'm planning and plotting for the next thing. That's my
There you go.
That's my hobby.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always looking for the expansion.
I am so lost when it comes to things like cryptocurrencies and investing. Like that's something that I want to do and I want to get good at, but it's just so hard to like watch a YouTube video on it and try to learn. It's just not something that clicks with me.
Right.
Like it's counterintuitive. You think like money would, interest you, but I don't know, maybe my brain is just too dense or something.
No, it was something like that, similar for me too, because I was just like, what the hell? So I knew about Bitcoin before Bitcoin blew up, and so I should have put money in on
You
it.
be
like,
rich.
You're like this dude with
bro,
Netflix.
Like, no, man. So like they were like 50, 100 a coin at first. Now they're like 19,000 a coin.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
If I would have put in on that, and the thing is, I kept hearing about it. It was friends that I knew that just were working with money and doing certain things that were telling me, and I was just like, man, I'm not putting my money into nothing. Like you said, I don't know about that. You know what I mean? And as soon as I started to see other people get, I started kicking myself in the butt. I was like, damn, man, like I could have, you know what I mean? But then I started to educate myself afterwards, because it's like life is like a bus stop, right? Because if you miss an opportunity, there's gonna be another one similar that, you know what I mean, if you you know what I mean, working long enough, something similar will come around. So I've been just learning, educating myself, put a little bit into Bitcoin here and there, learning about other cryptos, and you know what I mean, investing into that too. And that's the thing for me, and stock too. You know, I'm just learning about certain things and figuring out what's good for my future, building out a portfolio. Because in that way, if I'm invested in my future, I figure like, regardless of whatever happens with the government, whatever's going on, like I can still retire at some point on time, or a little earlier. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, just planning things out and building. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's scary to think about, for sure.
I feel like now's the time though. While everything's down, while especially while people are still figuring the way out, while markets are down, while everything, now's the time to figure it out, learn about it real quick, and find your situation, find what fits you. Even if it's not crypto, if it's something else, if it's starting your own business, or just don't do restaurants yet. But if it's just starting that business, just starting your own businesses and doing stuff like that, like. And just got to do something, man.
We were actually talking about that a little bit on the last episode, about how there are a lot of opportunities that are presenting themselves during this time. It's not just all negative that's coming out of it. Like you said, restaurants, they are struggling. Many of them are struggling. But when you get creative and you come up with a way to make something successful, you can make it happen. You just can't let this whole COVID thing stop you. So
let me clarify. When I say that, it's just because like when you're starting from the ground up, it's hard as hell already, right? But then it's like with COVID and everything, unless you're doing something that's like super rare, unique, and just smashes it out of the park immediately, You're gonna need word of mouth, build your clientele, do all that, and it's hard as hell. And a lot of people that I know, a lot of restaurant owners that I know say it takes like 2 to 3 years to even build that kind of word of mouth clientele, stuff like that. You know what I mean? To where people are constantly rotating out and coming to see you. You know what I mean? So doing it now, I just think while people are indoor, you know what I mean, and they don't have the ability to see you as often, you know what I mean, I think it's just a little detrimental to somebody putting their money in. But shit, it's not to say that, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No.
You know, now
Exception.
that we're kind of segueing into productivity, like what it sounds like, I was researching before the show started a few productive things to do before, during the pandemic.
Right.
And one was, of course, other than organization, everyone should know, or at least attempt, or at least maybe have sparked an interest with organizing their home with the pandemic. But aside from that, it's organizing your will. And because you just never know when it's gonna happen. And another thing, I actually got this from one of my friends, so shout out to her. You could always put like instructions on your refrigerator, and it kind of it's like a piece of information. So like, let's say if something happened to you while you're cooking in the kitchen, or I don't know, you passed out at your house and paramedics come into your house, there's like information on your fridge that says, oh, this person's allergic to penicillin. Oh, if this person dies, they don't want their organs donated. So that's like a little something to just spark your mind. And I don't know, if you really don't have anything to do and you want to be productive with your time, that can be a life-saving, life-changing thing potentially. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Some of the things I've been doing productive, definitely did some organization, organizing of my place. I put up like a bunch of like artwork on the wall that I had been planning to put up. Also, spending a lot of time with my dog Hercules. You know,
Oh, for sure.
spending more time than I was before, just because a little more time, flexibility to be able to do that. Although now I'm back working full time, so now I'm back not being able to spend as much time with him, so he gets a little sad. But I'll be home to walk you soon, Hercules.
Yeah, most definitely. Like I mentioned, I have a place with my partner now, so there was just a whole lot of decorating going on, a whole lot of remodeling going on, and that just really gives you time to just plan everything out, you know? And so that's for sure one of the hobbies that I've gotten into. And then because I hate when stuff goes bad, because prior to the pandemic, I was not a person that cooks, and I'm still not good at cooking, but I've just like been learning to dabble in it a little bit. And because of YouTube especially, I watched this person named Joshua Weissman originally because his YouTube videos are just really funny, but he has some really good, easy, recipes to just throw together. So I don't know, those are the things that have been kind of keeping my mind busy, because it takes up a lot of time. That's why people don't cook in the first place. That's why I didn't cook, or just didn't spend time cooking like that, because it takes up a lot of time, chopping, mincing, all these different things. So the pandemic kind of just allowed me time to just focus on that a little bit, just because I'm bored,
Oh man.
So for sure.
I'm an exceptional cook. I don't know how that feels. My mom's an executive chef.
Oh, that's so cool.
Like, I've worked in
What
restaurants.
type of food?
Man,
anything?
She can do anything. Like,
Oh,
I've seen
that's
her
awesome.
work in any kind of restaurant, from barbecue to French to anything upscale. And I kind of worked in all these different kind of restaurants and situations. So I've learned to cook under different chefs and different stuff like that. And it's, like I can people are impressed. Like I've cooked for certain people, and I just like, I never would have in a million years imagine that you could do this, that, and the other, But barbecue, I did something for a friend's birthday not that long ago. Did like barbecue oysters with like the shrimp on top. But then it's like a little bit of sriracha and ranch in the middle, but you barbecue it, so you get the like smoky taste to it. Then I made like gumbo, like I made her a pot of gumbo, and then like her own little Sunday and all this stuff. So it was just like, but I made it all.
Yeah.
And people don't even think that you could do that. You know what I mean? Especially most folks, especially from Richmond, they don't think we can do nothing, man. But, let them know, right? We know.
Yeah.
We know. But yeah, that's cooking is something that's an important thing for me. Just because I like to have it as a tool whenever I want to use it. You know what I mean? Like if I feel like doing something, then I can do it. If I, you know what I mean? If I need to improvise something, I can improvise. You know, it's just a good tool to have. So keep at it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. My dad actually, he was a cook for a long time. So I don't know. I really appreciate when people can cook as well. And I don't know. I kind of envy how they can just improvise. They can just get anything. They could pull any ingredients from the pantry or the fridge and they just make it taste amazing, you know? And you could always tell if someone's a good cook by the way they chop. That's one thing I learned for sure. If a girl tells you, oh yeah, I can throw down, and she's like slicing them all awkward, like nails in the way, she does not cook. But if she's like doing it super quick with the technique, no, she's a cook or he's a cook. You know what I mean? That's one thing I learned for sure.
That's fair.
It's like how someone got the good barbecue. They got those sandals on, those leather sandals with the toes showing. That's how you know they got the good barbecue.
Yeah, that's true. Or even with like Hispanic moms, you know they're a good cook when they don't measure anything. They just kind of throw it in there and they just like taste it. That's how you know it's like real authentic, you know? For sure. Yeah. So what about post-quarantine? What are you guys looking forward to the most?
Well, I'm looking forward to spending more time with family, being able to just go places without wearing a mask all the time. Like all these places that have been closed or like you have to wait in line to go inside of places sometimes. Tired of that. So, you know, like you can't go to Trader Joe's without getting in line. So I haven't been. Or like other places that just have been impacted. And I feel really sad, you know, for all the restaurants that, you know, have had to like shut down or other businesses that have been impacted. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to all that.
For sure. I feel bad for all the barbers and hairdressers out there because they're really having a tough time, you know, and especially people, they're getting bored in their house. So a lot of them, they're like trying out cutting their own hair or partners, you know, so it's like who really needs a
That's leading to some breakups right there. I know.
What about you, Evan? What are you looking forward to post quarantine?
Shoot, pretty much just being able to go places and not see everybody just, you know what I'm saying, masked up and everything. Me personally, let me tell you this. I'm not looking forward to the day that we can't wear no mask anymore. You see how many of them damn stylish masks I done bought that match me and they all shiny and everything. I spent $30 a pop on them things. Nah. I'm wearing my mask even when they stop wearing masks. They gonna be like, why this dude still wearing masks? But they cool. They match. But honestly, I'm just looking forward to kind of like getting back into the swing of seeing people in person, being able to, you know, go out there and, you know, really touch people, get to do events again like the 5K. Oh man, well, I couldn't do the Rich City Talent Showcase anymore. That hurt.
Yeah, you had one lined up, right? And then that one had
hurt. It was gonna be big too. We had a lot of things going on because we almost sold out the last one. And we were able to really pull out some talent, not even just from here, but from other places too. I'm not even gonna talk about it now because I'm not gonna jinx it. But
you are planning to get back and start doing those again, right?
Yeah, because I still have those favors on deck that I need to call in and have done. Because the thing about that was for me was that was like the first talent show where people could, of all ages. It didn't matter what age it was, what your talent was, what genre it was. It was like the first one like that, besides this older cat, I forget his name. But that was like he did that in like the 70s, 80s. Right?
Yeah.
But he was doing it for so long. But it was like 30, 35, 40 years before they had something like that was like recurring. So this was like the first time this happened in a long time. So it was giving people a lot of traction. You know what I mean? We had somewhere for like Tomorrow June to come regularly play and then go do what they want to do outside of here. You know what I'm saying? Or Jake Wilson or anybody else who was rapping or anything. You know, filmmakers came and brought their films there. You know what I mean? So it was athletes, everybody, man. So it was just like one of those places where not only could they show themselves off, but we can like network. And everybody, folks that probably would have never met.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Started to network and work together. So I can't wait to do that again. That's on the top of my list is to get that done. And get back into wrestling. I'm gonna get back into that too.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna get back into that. Yeah.
I didn't know you did wrestling.
First wrestler from Richmond, California. First pro wrestler from Richmond, California.
Cool.
You feel me? That's a fact. Anybody want to try to check me on that, try me.
There you go.
But yeah, getting back to that, I want to do that. That's probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life, man, is pro wrestling.
Is it the mental part, the physical part, both? Yeah.
Because the physical part, it's a difference in my original trainer, Gabriel Ramirez, who was going to be on the show I was telling you. He told me beforehand it's a difference between being in shape and then being in ring shape. And I thought it was some BS when he was saying it, but then when you get in the ring, you hit the ropes. The ropes aren't even ropes; they're steel cable wound real tight with a garden hose wrapped around them. So the first time I hit ropes and we had to run the ropes and do all that, I had blood bruises on my neck, my back, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've seen somebody die from like hitting their neck on the rope. You know what I mean? A dude from Mexico hit his neck on the rope the wrong way and broke his neck. You know,
wow.
snapped it, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Because
crazy.
they really wind them tight. I've had to deconstruct the ring, reconstruct the ring, all that type of stuff. So it's dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So I've seen a lot, man, and I gotta respect when anybody steps in the ring. So I gotta get that done. I got especially for Richmond.
Man.
It's anybody who does that, I have respect for. You know what I mean?
Most definitely.
Yeah, that's how I feel like every sport is different. Like you could be in shape for soccer, but that's not really going to be the same kind of conditioning you need for wrestling.
Exactly.
And vice versa. And that I feel like crosses between every sport. Like even if you're like the world's greatest bodybuilder and you look like you're in really great shape, when you try that sport, it may not be the same kind of soreness. You're going to feel all kinds of different muscles working out.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it was a totally different beast, man. But I haven't been ready for that. Like, I was never ready for that before I did it. Just like doing all these hikes and climbs and stuff that I've been doing recently.
Yeah, I saw that.
I wasn't ready for that. You know what I mean? Doing Half Dome was probably like, that was the hardest thing I've ever done. It was like climbing and doing all that stuff on Half Dome. That was the hardest thing.
Yeah.
That's something that once COVID's over, I'm gonna still be doing it regardless of weather. But I have a trip planned for Tokyo in April, so I'm gonna be in Tokyo for a week, and then the following week I'll be in Egypt. So I'm trying to hike and climb a couple things in Egypt.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Man, that sounds awesome.
Taking advantage. That's
yeah, man, you got to.
For sure.
So you know what I mean, continuing to push. That's the name.
Yeah. I want to hike Half Dome. It's hard to get that permit.
Lottery, I've been trying to get that for the past 2 years.
It was
it's so
luck.
hard.
It was pure luck how we got there. So we were already in Yosemite and we had entered that lottery that you're talking about. We couldn't get it. We didn't know we couldn't get it until we got there. Me and my friend Logan, that's like my brother. But once we got to Yosemite, we're like, we'll do Glacier Point and then something else. I forgot what the other thing was. Clouds Rest. We were supposed to do Clouds Rest. And so while we were on our way to Clouds Rest, it's a similar trail to Half Dome. And the crazy thing is that we met a couple people and it was, were they married? They were married. So they had done the trip, but then two of their folks had dropped out, so they had 2 open spots on their reservation. So they got those 2 open spots. Did Half Dome then. It was crazy. That was amazing.
I have read about some situations in Half Dome where you can get it guaranteed, but you have to do like a 2-day. You have to pay for like a 2-day guide. And it's like $700.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, but that's like guaranteed supposedly, and they provide meals, but To me, it's like really $700-800 for that. I don't think so.
Yeah.
It's a little too much for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds really cool. Half dome.
My thing with that is like, I agree with you on the pricing, but then it like once you have the experience, because it's like, especially once you know where you're going, because that's the thing. The first time I got to Yosemite, we did a Glacier Point. I didn't really know nothing about it. We got to go back to Yosemite, I think, the next month and do Half Dome, and I was kind of a little more acclimated to things. It's just about kind of knowing where you want to go and what you're trying to do. But the experience is most definitely priceless. Once you get there, do the climb, you can't go there unprepared though. That's the one thing I tell people is because it tested me, and I seen people before you get to the climb, because you have to do the trail, and the trail's like, the trail there is like almost 12 miles. So you have to do that and then go up about a mile of stone, like steps, like little granite, and they wind around this little mountain, and then you do the climb.
Yeah.
Most people didn't even make it to the stone steps. They would be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good with the trail. I'm good with the trail. But yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm more than proud of that. It's one of my proudest.
Yeah. I feel like personally, if hiking was a hardcore hobby, whatever, then I'd pay for it. Yeah. But to me, hiking is just like the only way I do it is lottery. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
But I'm not knocking anyone that's paid that. If you paid that, if you have the money for that, that's great. That's awesome for you. But that really hurts, you know?
Yeah.
Like, dang, I can't even imagine.
I feel you on the financial aspect. Yeah. I feel you on the financial aspect.
Speaking of hikes,
for sure,
we have a hike coming up. Evan, if you're available this Saturday, we'd love to have you come out. It's going to be at 8 a.m. We're going to meet at Alvarado Park. We're going to do a little community hike, social distance, of course, bring your mask, all that good stuff. We're going to do about 2 hours, so from 8 to 10. Probably about 4.5 miles, maybe 5. We're going to do a little circle, a little loop right there in Alvarado Park. It's right in our backyard, so you could probably get there if you're from Richmond in about 5, maybe 10 minutes. You don't got to travel too far. And it's going to be a good chance to get some exercise. I know gyms are closed, so this is an easy way to go out, socialize a little bit safely, and get some good exercise in. Yep.
Easy and free. And also Sunday, we have a cleanup. So this Sunday, can you give me the exact date?
Sunday,
hold on.
The 6th, December 6th.
December 6th. There you go. Sunday, December 6th, we're also going to be hosting a cleanup. So if you're available for that, please feel free to come. We need all the help we can get. This is your chance to make your community look better. And yeah, we hope you make it.
And it's all socially distanced. We have plenty of space. It's outdoors, obviously. It's a community cleanup. And you don't have to be within 6 feet of anybody the whole time because it's a huge space to clean. So you'll be able to clean up with your own group. If you bring with somebody from home or somebody from your bubble, you could go separate and clean up a designated area. And there's a lot of trash along the Richmond Greenway. We're going to be cleaning up the east end of the Richmond Greenway, which is closer to San Pablo. Those of you who know the Richmond Greenway, it goes all the way down to, like Point Richmond. But we're going to be cleaning up the east side. So you could check out Moving Forward 510 on Instagram and Facebook and get all the details. You could DM us. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. And we'll make sure that you're able to get there. So please, if you're able to, we'd love to have you join.
And also, tools provided, even gloves, right? Gloves are provided too. And you get coffee and you get donuts for free.
Don't tell them. Don't tell them.
Oh, it's a surprise?
Don't tell. More for me. Hold on. No, I can't eat all those. Evan probably won't have a donut though because he got the 6-pack.
Right,
so
he got some coffee.
I have the black coffee.
There you go.
Okay, the black coffee. There you go.
We'll have to bring some healthy snacks for Evan.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Or bring you some trail mix.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
You see, like you give me a donut, I'll be like rabbit biting it.
Yeah. Savoring each little bite. Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
That takes so much discipline. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going back. I'm not going backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I think I'm celebrating 7 years now. Like I dropped 70 pounds 7 years ago.
Wow.
Keep it up.
It's a milestone right
And
there.
help other people do it. You know, that's the big thing, is to help other people do it.
A lot of people.
Yeah, it's my 4th year training. It's my 7th year off that.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. What would you say was the key moment where you're like, this is enough, I'm changing this today? What would you say? What was your like aha moment?
Hey, rock bottom. So, you know, this will probably help somebody in their situation right now. So that's a good question. Like when I was still a little heavier, had a job I wasn't really feeling. I was living in El Sobrante, but I was working in Richmond at this production company called Hartman Studios. And, you know, they pay pretty good, but they treat people pretty bad. And, you know, I wasn't happy with my life. I think the girl I was with, you know, it wasn't working out like that at the time. It's just like, and you know what was so weird about it was like my whole value system was different at the time. So like, I felt like at that time I didn't value myself to a point to where whether I was with this person or not, I would be okay. I saw more value in just being with somebody than I saw with being with myself.
Oh no.
You get what I'm saying? So that's where things started to kind of get to a point to where when things like that happen, or when you're like that, or when you're thinking like that, it's always going to come to a head. It's always going to come to a head because you're either going to be in a situation where you crumble or you're going to rise up. But you're always going to be put in that situation. It's going to come to a head. So lost my girl, lost my job, all these things at the same time, no money, lost my apartment, lost all these things. I was damn near out of it. So I was going through a whole bunch mentally, you know, on the physical end. Man, I almost tried to take my own life for a whole bunch of other things, you know what I'm saying? And right when I was hitting rock bottom at that time, it was people in Atlanta, Georgia, that didn't even know me from like Rock on the Ground. He was who became a mentor of mine, but he was a father of like somebody who a family member of mine was dating. So like basically like a father-in-law, you know what I'm saying? But he paid a ticket for me to come to Atlanta, leave Richmond, come to Atlanta, work for him, bought me a car, got me like counseling, everything. Put me into a gym. I was working. He owned all the Ghost gyms, like from Georgia to Florida. That's lucky, right? So he got me under the strength and conditioning coach at Alabama University. So I was training. I was out of shape, 70 pounds, out of shape, training with college football players. Running drills with them and stuff. I was way over my head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I couldn't bench nothing. I couldn't squat nothing. I was getting told like, hey, stand to the side, like you a reject, basically, you know?
Man.
So that's when the aha moment came.
Oh, I see.
You feel what I'm saying? Because I felt so beat at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't win. And at some point I was just like, I've never been somebody who's been told no or like taken no. You know what I mean? And I was just like, I'm the one telling you no, though. Like it's nobody else. There's nobody else. Everything else is gone. So when am I gonna stop telling myself no and start telling myself I'm good enough for yes? Like I can do whatever I want. I can achieve whatever I want. The moment I started doing that, body changes. And I started putting the work into my diet. I started to work out more. I started to actually see changes. And I just wouldn't let go. And then so by the time I left Atlanta to come back here, because I had been there for a certain amount of time, I've been working at weight loss clinics. I've been afforded to go to some of the best education that you can get for fitness and health and all that type of stuff. I have no student debt, no nothing. It was all paid for. All my counseling, everything was paid for. I came here with a clean slate. So I was just like, man, when I came back here, I'm hitting the ground running. I'm never looking back. You know what I mean? Like I got a rare chance to do some things. So that's why a lot of the time when I see guys like you, I see organizations like you, I see folks like that, I just remember where I was. I was the underdog. Nobody thought I was gonna win. Nobody thought I was gonna do nothing. Like you know what I'm saying? Like nobody thought I was gonna be anything.
Let me, let me ask you a question, because I feel like the mental part and the physical part of fitness is so connected. What do you think really changed first? Was it the mental part of you or the physical part?
I think the physical part. I think the physical part most definitely first. I think that came first. I think like I came into, because even when the body changes came, I didn't grow into everything yet. I wasn't like all the way mature or anything like that yet, to where it's like when I first came back here, I had all this going on. I was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it's on now, and you know what I'm saying? It was, but then at the same time, it was just like, that's not fulfilling. You know what I'm saying? You can date any girl, whatever. When I came back here, every girl that said no to me said yes. They knocked down my door to say it. Anybody that ever was like nah, it was the exact opposite when I came back out here. And then, you know, that do something to your ego too. You know what I'm saying? But then I think that when I started to become a personal trainer and I started to understand like other people's stories, and there was so many people out there that were like me. You know what I mean? At one point, I felt the responsibility. You know what I mean? Like I'm responsible for some of these people, like especially when they come to my gym and I start to hear their stories. And even now, like now you don't even have to like come to the gym. I get people now that own businesses and that are like older than me, that are in financials, way more successful than me, that when I sit down with them, they'll be like, bro, I admire you, or I look up to you and this, that, and the other, and they ask me for advice and I don't get it. But then, you know what I mean, I get it like now, because it's what you kind of said. It's a mental and spiritual and physical. It's a balance. Like if one ain't right, the other can't be right. So if you're going through something, right? If you're feeling depressed, what do? You eat, right? You eat because that's the one thing that most of the time makes you feel better. But if your mentals aren't good, you're not going to eat the good things that make your physical good. It's going to be an imbalance. You feel what I'm saying? And if all that's not right, how's your spirit right? It's an imbalance. So you got to balance it out, and that's why I think a lot of us got to work on, especially now, because I feel like while a lot of us take the time with the pandemic and being by ourselves to kind of be depressed and fall into that void, now's the time to kind of look at things and be like, yo, how can I change my situation? I'm not like, how can I really change things? How can I really, whether it's physical, financial, whatever, how can I change these things? Like, instead of wasting my time on talking about why I can't or why I can't, I told myself why I can't so many times. And guess what? When I told myself I couldn't, I didn't. Yeah. But the minute I said I could,
you did. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just one, and that's why I think everybody was kind of getting scatterbrained with me for a couple of years, because I was doing go to work thing, and then I was doing wrestling, and I was doing this, and I was doing that. And I was like, keep your mind. But then the thing is, like, no, I'm doing everything, because beforehand, like, I didn't think I could do any of this. 5 years ago, I couldn't have done none of this. Yeah. I did all this in 5 years, just like you did everything you did in the amount of time you did it. Man, nobody thought we was gonna be at where we're at. You know what I'm saying? You know, people told us to pack it in. Y'all don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we know. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say we take pride, even if it's small steps. Take pride in them steps. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Wow. I feel like this conversation took a turn that I didn't expect it, but I'm really glad it did.
No, you know what? And last thing, and I'm gonna just hand it off.
Yeah, go.
I just want to tell y'all this, and this is just, you know, to folks at home. I learned this, you know, but I tell this to myself every day. It's important to give yourself the gift of self. That's self valuation, you know what I'm saying? Self-worth. And through that, you find self-love. But you got to have self-evaluation. You know what I mean? You gotta figure out everything that's going wrong in the world. It ain't happening to you. Sometimes it's how you perceive things. Sometimes it's how you act on things. Sometimes it's how you don't act on things. So you have to have that self-evaluation. You know what I'm saying? And you have to check yourself. You have to do a little, you know what I mean? You have to do a little self-fixing. You got to get those things out the way. Say, hey, I'm not doing that no more. And through fixing those things, you find self-worth. And you can't love something that you don't find worth in. So after you find that self-worth, you find self-love. Get yourself.
Dropping that knowledge. Dropping the knowledge.
Yeah. And that's a really good segue for next week's episode, because we're actually going to be talking a little bit about depression. So yeah, thanks. That's a great segue into that.
All good.
Yeah.
All good.
So thank you, Evan, so much for coming here, spending time with us. We're really happy to have you on here. What about you, Anselmo?
I feel like the best gift you can share with someone is your time. Yeah. And so that's why they call it the present. Right. So we are super grateful for Evan always, being there for us. He's been, I feel like, moving forward the whole way. He's just as much part of moving forward as I am or anyone else. So appreciate you taking the time, coming out, sharing some of your story. I learned a lot about you today that I had no idea. And wow, it's a really heartfelt stuff. And I'm sure that we're going to have to cut some of those parts up and make little mini clips of it so people can see it. Because, wow, that was really good, man. And so, Lady, she does all the editing and stuff. So she's going to be on top of that. I'm sure she's going to edit some of what you just said and blast that out all over social media because people need to hear that. And also, we can't forget to shout out Ronnie with one N. He's the man behind the scenes, clicking on the cameras, making sure that you can see who's the person that's talking when we're doing this podcast, making sure the podcast looks good. So shout him out. How old are you, Ronnie? 17. He's only 17 and he's doing all this. So, man.
Shout out to you.
Yeah. So we got to shout out Ronnie. We can't go a single episode without shouting him out.
Ronnie.
Is there anything else, any shout outs, anything you want to plug in before we wrap up?
Oh, yeah. Let me plug in a couple of things. Y'all check me out. Just visit the social medias, man. Go to Work Fitness on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. We're dropping so many videos right now. So it's like workouts. We visit restaurants. I do recipes at home as far as food, shakes, all that stuff. Interviews with artists, athletes, all this other different stuff. Check that out. That's on YouTube. Check it out. Also, the Go to Work Fitness podcast. We're on Anchor, Google Podcasts, all this other stuff, Spotify, all that good stuff. So shout out to everybody that's listening to us over there. I want to have you guys on there. So you know what I'm saying? That's why I was saying boom, boom, boom. Check
we're going to make that up.
Right? Make it happen, right? But that, and then besides that, man, just continue to support this ecosystem, man, the community at large, man. Because I always feel like you were saying before, when I was doing stuff in 2015, I was like, damn, man, it sucks kind of being the only one doing something. Or so I love seeing everybody else kind of come up and take their niche and take their thing and make it happen and to still be able to run with you guys and to still be able to be relevant in the situation, even still after being around for a little bit. Feel good, man. So I'm blessed for that. And one last thing. I'm doing this men's collection for, I think, blissbodyshop.com. They're in the UK. They're this fitness brand. I'm going to be doing this promotion with them and photo shoots for this men's Odyssey watch collection they got going on. You guys can get everything on there on the store, about 15% off if you go to that site and put in Go to Work Fitness 15.
Is that one of the watches right there?
Actually, no, but they're sending me one. I was about to say they're sending me one, but it's gonna be super fly. And once you guys see it, you'll love it. Ladies, they got swimsuits, leggings, lingerie, all your fitness needs, all that sexy stuff you like. You can get that off 15% off right now. Go to Work Fitness 15, Blitz Body Shop, and that's everything for me, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, thanks again for joining us, Evan. And any shout outs today? No, really no shout outs, just the usual
the viewers. We can't say
family, friends.
Thank you.
I'm not gonna mention Lady because I know you're gonna mention Lady. But of course. And actually co-hosts. They're not here right now, but you were excited next season to have you. Shout out to you guys for, still being around, being part of the team.
Yeah.
We care and appreciate you, and yeah, we're excited now that the season's coming to a close.
Yeah, that was on point right there.
Mhm.
Shout out Gio and John.
Yeah,
Shout them
for
out.
sure.
Yep.
Mhm.
Love you guys.
What's up?
And that's it. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Episode.
Hey.